All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Father's Day weekend coming up here. And tonight, I know, I am not Captain Jack. You are watching the Captain Jack Rackham YouTube channel and podcast. You guys are familiar with me. I have co-hosted this show with him earlier in the year. As you know, Captain Jack's kind of taking a little bit of a break. Every Wednesday he's about to start doing those shows with Violator and Ref Guru coming up. So the closer we get to the season, but for tonight, and you never know who's going to pop in, by the way. Captain Jack, he can pop in at any time, so you never know. But for tonight, I want to go ahead and get a chance to talk to all of you guys. And Antonio Pierce went and talked today. He spoke, and I thought that was a lot of telling stuff. Thank you again to the chat. Thank you. I appreciate you guys coming on. And for tonight, we're going to do a little bit of a different twist. You probably saw in the thumbnail, you saw MAXX CROSBY with boxing gloves. He's sitting there. If you guys saw the NFL special on it, he was sparring against the UFC middleweight champion. And, it's not uncommon because you guys remember Lyle Alzado in 1979 actually did an exhibition bout with Muhammad Ali. So boxing and football, kind of one of those things that happen, right? And I want to bring in a couple of really younger boxing fans who are diehard Raider fans who have their own content. They have their own podcast. So, and they're also fathers. So I'm going to bring both of them in. You can see it from the comment. The first person I'm bringing on is right now my man, Saturday mornings. Check him out at the Raider Nation Jasin. I got it up for you guys. My guy, Raider Nation Jasin. There he is. What's up?
Oh, man. Just got off work, man. Glad to be here. Definitely glad to be here. I appreciate you having me on, my brother.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, this is one of the fun things I always talk about when I talk about Captain Jack's show. Is it's really a show for the people, right? It's not really going to be, one of those locked in type of, we're going to go through our subjects tonight. But as I was saying earlier to you guys before, in recognition of Father's Day weekend, I'm bringing in dads. I'm a dad. Raider Nation Jasin, he just had his daughter. Your daughter just graduated, right?
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah,
man.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. That's a really tough thing to do, especially during the COVID era, right? It's really a lot of mental health there that we got to deal with. And then one of the best dads out there, always taking his kids, doing all kinds of crazy things. But he's got his own show. One of the fun shows I just saw, he has the 50-50 podcast with Pharaoh NFL, and it was really cool because I like listening to tapes don't lie. He had Marcus Johnson on. It was on Monday. You guys should check it out. But my guy, who's also a big boxing fan, Mr. Severe Raider.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
That was a good show, by the way, man. Can I shout that out? That was a really good show. I like that you guys got Marcus Johnson on there. That was good.
Appreciate it, man. I really appreciate him taking the time out. That's the second time we did a show with him. We did one pre-draft, so we want to follow up post-draft and get him on there, man. But yeah, appreciate you having me, man. Man, Angelo is one of those guys, man. This dude, his passion for boxing. If we can inject a little bit of his passion just into every single American, bro, we would dominate boxing, man. We would dominate.
Bro, it's hot right now. Like, I got to tell you, like, if you were in Vegas, and I know I kind of wanted to do this too, because Jasin, he's up in NorCal, right? Not, I used to be, I grew up in Alameda, and then Severe, you're in SoCal, right? So I'm kind of covering all the Raider Nation areas. I got SoCal, NorCal, I got Las Vegas, right? We got it all covered. And then, and like I said, with Captain Jack's show, one of the fun things about this format is, and you've been in this before, Severe, where anyone will just jump on sometimes, right? Yeah. So we don't even know. Like, there might be a couple of special guests jumping on tonight. We'll see. But as you guys saw from the thumbnail, again, how cool was that, right? MAXX CROSBY sparring against, I mean, they went 9 minutes from what I understand, and they were
That's
going at
crazy.
it against Sean Strickland. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you tell me, guys. Like, did you see like some of the clips of it on NFL Network did a whole thing and they showed like Max throwing and no disrespect to Max, right? But like, Max is definitely the best football player out there. I'm putting him in that Kobe status of he's gonna show us he's the best defensive player of the year. But when you saw him throwing punches, man, what'd you think? What'd you think there, Jasin? What'd you think of MAXX CROSBY? He's been only boxing. He's only been doing it off season for 2 years. So we got to take it easy on him. All right. But what'd you think, Jasin? What'd you think of Max throwing punches at Strickland?
Well, first off, 9 minutes. That's crazy. It was like 9 minutes. It was like 9 minutes straight.
No, it was three 3-minute rounds.
Okay. I was like,
man, they were going at it.
Sounds like
Strickland wasn't taking it easy on him. Like if you saw when Muhammad Ali did the 8-round exhibition bout in Denver against Lyle Alzado back in '79, and Ali was, he was just starting to retire, right? So he's doing these, like he did the exhibition bout with the wrestler in Japan, right? And you could kind of tell like Ali was sort of carrying Lyle Alzado, but Lyle Alzado did train, and to be fair, man, like Lyle Alzado, in my opinion, just looked throwing punches. He looked like he trained a lot more than Max had. I mean, again, that's just me. Like maybe I'm just being too harsh because I'm a former boxing trainer and used to train, the MMA fighters. But
man, you're still a boxing trainer, man. You're still a boxing trainer, bro. I mean, there's a reason why these other people are professional fighters. I would say that, and as the saying goes, there's levels to this, and you can tell one guy is a professional fighter who's been training for a long time. You can tell another guy who is a passionate person and picked up the sport because of, first of all, just the immense amount of cardiovascular intensity involved in it. Outside of soccer, I couldn't think of a more, like just intense sport, in terms of cardio than boxing. So there's that aspect of it. But like I said, man, that you can tell one guy's a professional, one guy is an amateur, and they in 3-minute rounds. That's even less than an amateur fight, right? Like amateur rounds is four rounds.
Well, they were in a cage, and usually for UFC bouts and MMA fights in general, they're 3 5-minute rounds, right? In a boxing match, they're the thing about a boxing match, and I always explain this to people, especially who don't understand that MMA and boxing is like saying baseball and football. It's literally very different. It's
very different.
Extremely different in the pacing. But boxing, the reason why so many people globally gravitate towards it, and you see, like Max talked about how boxing has helped him with his pass rush. And then he even explains it, how it's about distance and range, and then like reading, because boxing is the highest level of fighting, in the sense of you have to constantly be thinking. You like, there's never a time where you can't be present. Like every 10 seconds is a match. So in a boxing match, you're going 12 rounds, 3 minutes. That's 36 minutes. And back in the day, guys, that
15.
it was 15 rounds, man. 15 rounds, and they were going at it. So that's why you guys got to understand. Like, I love the fact that you and Jasin are younger than me, but you appreciate and understand that these boxers, like, it's a different sport, man. It is not. I mean, just this year, we already saw the heavyweight who was undefeated. Unfortunately, he passed away, and he only was boxing for 1 round. And it didn't look like too crazy of a knockdown, but again, man, you're getting hit, trauma to the head. You'll notice, guys, that if you watch, if you're like you said, like if you're really into boxing, it's kind of like being a real Raider fan. Like there's the casual Raider fans who watch it, wear the uniform. That's cool. We love you too. But if you're a real Raider fan, I mean, you're watching Antonio Pierce today at Media Day. You're watching Ricky Manning, right? You're trying to figure out who's in the depth chart, right? You're trying to get little tidbits on all right, who might make it, who might not make it, right? So boxing's the same thing. And unfortunately, like you said, Severe, boxing in the United States, when we had it free on ABC Sports and it was free to the public, it was easy. And then, you know, HBO and Showtime came in, and still that was cool. Once HBO and Showtime left, bro, all of boxing, which has been regular content, it's always at Sky Sports in the UK. It's always in like Puerto Rico, always in Mexico, right? So everybody else was fine, but the United States really got left behind. So now, if you guys really want to watch boxing and you want to get into it, just turn on your Peacock TV. If you type in Peacock TV and you type in boxing, you're going to see all of the British ones. And let me ask you, like, did you notice, guys? I don't know if you noticed this, Jason, but when you're watching the boxing matches in the UK, did you notice that there are no ring girls? Did any of you guys notice this at all?
I never noticed. No, I never noticed that.
You see what I'm saying? Because you're getting so into the fight, right? Like that you totally miss. So the difference is, so my friend of mine, Paulie Malignaggi, he has the Pro Box TV with Chris Algieri on Wednesdays, right? And in America, in the United States, you can watch that on Wednesday nights. Pro Box TV on YouTube, and then what they do is they have their own little like arena in Florida, where kind of close to where Captain Jack lives, right? And they got, like, you want to talk about ring girls, bro? Like, if that's what you want to see, like, their ring girls are like, woo, right? But if what you want to see is boxing, that's funny to me how you didn't even notice it, guys. No, you didn't even notice that when you're watching UK boxing, what actually happens is you're watching the boxing, and the commentators aren't saying stupid stuff. Like somehow, like sometimes Timothy Bradley says the dumbest stuff, man. Like he'll say something like, well, that guy looks like he's my drunk uncle fighting. And in the UK, you'll never hear them badmouth the fighters because they know what is at stake, right? So and then the crazy thing too is in the UK, bro, it's like, imagine a bunch of diehard Raider fans all going to like a 10,000 seat arena, all invested in their guy, right? Whether it's a MAXX CROSBY, a Nate Hobbs, like you know, like diehard Raider fans will go to the like a preseason game, but you want to go watch your guy. That's what boxing is like. So, but I don't know, man. That's just me, and I appreciate you guys always engaging with me when the boxing's going on. But talk to me a little bit. Like, I know you guys have seen some of the highlights, and some of you guys were actually watching some of these fights with me that was going on. But what's been in just the last 6 weeks? What's been like your favorite thing that you've seen so far? Because there's a lot. There's a ton. What do you think, Jason?
It's been a lot of knockouts. I know that. It's and it's been a lot of surprise. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of surprise knockouts with the seeing Fury go down, and then Wilder went down. It's been a lot of because I mean that's what I like about boxing, man. Is you're literally fighting for your life. You know what I'm saying? That you got people trying to damn near take your head off. You know what I mean? Literally, if you get hit the wrong way, you know it could be over. So it's a thing where it's life or death. You know, you that's what, you know, how Tank's attitude right now, like he's always trolling, but he believes, you know what I mean? Like, and it's that confidence. Like he's punking people at these press conferences, punking like we was talking to Errol Spence. He couldn't even concentrate as he was talking, but it's been crazy just like to see him, you know, do what he's doing. Like, that's somebody I think that Mayweather would have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be, even though at the age right now, I would still like to see that. I would like to see that.
I mean, Severe, what do you think about that statement? Because what I'll say about Gervonta Davis is he has 29 wins, 27 knockouts, undefeated, and you guys know he got power. But what do you think, Severe? What's your favorite thing that's happened just in the last 6 weeks of boxing?
I had to say, man, that the unification fight, man, I think that was a special moment, and I'm happy I got to see it. You know, got to witness it live. You know, with the way, you know, the sport of boxing is the wild, wild west, and you know, you get all these, you know, these these different belts, and and it's the way they do the champion. It's the lineal champion, and so we may never see. I might not see that again in my lifetime. The way it goes, and the way guys avoid each other, and the way these promotional companies keep one fighter away from another fighter because that's the cash cow. So they don't want this guy to take a loss, because a loss in boxing is basically like a death blow to your career. So then you don't generate any revenue anymore. So then we might not see something like that again. And the fact that we got to see both these guys who were like two of the best to ever do it. Still, basically at the top of their games, both of them coming off of impressive wins. See those guys go toe to toe, and it be that good of a fight. I mean, and for it to be a fight that really could have gone either way. Both guys put their best foot forward. I had Usyk winning the fight. I know you watched it like 10 times. Angelo, I know, like, you scored it differently. I watched it 3 times. I watched it the first time live, then I watched it without the sound. Then I watched a different feed of it. I still had Usyk.
You still had Usyk winning by 1.
Yeah, I still had him winning by 1. I think me and you had that third round differently. I think that's where it was. I think that's where the difference was. I think I had the third round different. Yeah,
part of it too, Severe, is when we look at so back in the old days, they used to not be like none of them judges. It was just the ref. Yeah. And in the old days, the ref would be the judge and the ref, and he scored it by rounds. It's not a 10-9 system. So he would just say Severe won 5 rounds, Jasin won 5 rounds, had 3 rounds of it tied. So if you scored it just on the rounds, one judge had it 7 rounds to 5 for Fury.
Yeah.
One judge had it 7 rounds to 5 for Usyk, just to give everybody an idea of how close it was. And then the last judge from I think it was from Canada, he had it 6 rounds to 6. So the difference really was that knockdown in the 9th round, bro. Like that 10-8 kind of changes the whole perspective of it, right? And like I said, in the old days, it was almost like there was a lot of people getting knocked out because you just kept going, right? Until somebody got knocked
rounds,
out.
I mean, you get that's a whole lot more time to knock somebody out too.
Yeah, 15 rounds is crazy. 15 rounds is crazy for sure.
I couldn't imagine doing that, bro. I couldn't imagine doing that, man. I couldn't. Like, those guys are warriors, man. Those guys.
Hey, let me address the chat. Thanks, guys, by the way, for the comments. We really appreciate it, because we will talk Raider content. I promise. I know that I went like 20 minutes on that, but let's see. I want to say hi to Anna. Thank you, always coming in. I promise, Anna. You never know who might just show up. And then Dory, thank you. Thank you. Trash, all right. Thank you, sir, for coming down. That's cool. Hey, Trash, I didn't know that. That's cool, man. All right.
I thought he called it trash. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no. He comes on. SoCal, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
SoCal.
Yep. There we go. Salute. All right, Tony. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you guys are if you're running it in your channel. I can't see who's coming in on yours your side, but yeah. Oh, this is cool. I didn't know that. Huh. That's cool, man. Raquel Pennington. I think she's the current UFC champion right now. So that's really dope. That's really good. Hey, this is one of your people, right, Jason? Right here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Salute.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Rafa, thanks for coming in. I promise, guys, it won't just be boxing content. And I know, Edward, I know. And again, this is Captain, he's been gone for like the last 2 weeks. He's kind of on a hiatus. But I'm going to tell you right now, Edward, it's not going to be all football, bro. So I'm giving you fair warning already. Let's see. Matt, what's up, dude? Matt's on. Thank you. GA. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, GA. I appreciate you. Jack Kenna. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, Jack.
Yes, sir, Jack.
Man, this is cool. So I'm gonna keep GA on. So anyway, all right. Look. So I could keep some of the Raider fans on. Let us talk about that. The Antonio Pierce subject. Hey!
So, little
Yay!
bro.
He's getting ready for soccer practice, right?
Football, American football.
That's right.
There we go. Okay, my bad. When Severe texted me football, I was thinking like I was in British time, guys. I was thinking it was soccer. And my bad. So he's playing flag, or is he? Are you already got him in Pop Warner?
Nah, man, he's 4 years old, man. He's playing tackle.
Oh, what?
Let's go, man.
Yeah,
Hey, get him in some
Future.
boxing too, man, just in case.
I am, man. I definitely am, man. I definitely am, man.
All
It's something I wanted to do when I was younger, and my mom would never let me do it, man. And everybody would tell me like, man, you should box, bro. You should box. Because I would be boxing, but just not regulation.
Yeah.
So
sir.
so they was telling me I should box, man. But I could never convince my mom to do it, man. I wish if maybe I'd be cruiserweight champion right now.
Hey, you never know. Like seriously, like we were just talking about this earlier too. How the kids nowadays, like Frank Martin, who he's fighting Gervonta this Saturday.
Yeah.
Bro, he was playing football and he was pretty good actually. But then his dad was like, you need to make a choice, man. And in all honesty, football ain't going to pay you the bills. Like it's a harder road. Let's commit you all the way to boxing. And before that crucial time, now look at him, man. He's getting, I mean, if he beats Gervonta, which I don't know, like I don't, anybody in this panel right now thinking Gervonta is going to lose, or what do you think?
Sometimes I hope, but I don't see it happening. I don't. Hey, did you guys see the press conference? I think it was yesterday, where at the end of it he flinched at what's his name? But no, it was hella funny because like his reaction was hella crazy. He went to block. But I don't know. I hope it's a good fight, man. That's the only.
Oh no, it's gonna be a great fight.
Gervonta's
not in bad fights. He's always in good fights.
Yeah, he's always a good fight. Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting fight. But if for nothing else, the Gervonta usually starts off pretty slow. Yeah. So Frank Martin he'll get his rounds in early. Okay. It's just Tank usually finishes you. So that's I mean, I'm mad about this fight because I didn't want to see Frank. No offense to Frank Martin, but I thought Pitbull Cruz deserved a rematch.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
And after seeing what he did to Raleigh Romero, he really deserves a rematch against Tank Davis. So that's the fight I would have preferred to see over this one. Like I said, no disrespect to Frank Martin. Glad he's getting that opportunity. That's gonna be a nice payday for him. But that's the fight I would have preferred, man. So, but this should be a good fight. Frank Martin's a good fighter. A lot of people don't know about him. I think it's him and Keyshawn that have the rivalry, right?
Yeah. But and then the thing about Frank Martin too is not only is he undefeated, they brought him up. He started the boxing late. Like I said, he was a football player. They started boxing late. But he's good, man. Yeah. I mean, he's undefeated too. Yeah, and he's got power too.
Yeah, he does.
I think the biggest thing is what did we see in the Ryan Garcia fight? Right, it was timing. Yeah. It was timing. Isaac Cruz, who I agree with you, Severe. He's the one that pushed Gervonta the hardest, right? I mean, I don't want to say he had him in trouble. I'm saying he did push him pretty hard. Like that was a pretty good fight. Remember that once Isaac Cruz beat Raleigh, he got the 140 belt.
Yeah.
So he's getting that champion money right now from Turkey, from Turkey Al-Sheikh. And honestly, man, Turkey Al-Sheikh is like, he's like Roger Goodell, but also like the owners who pay the money. He's like giving you fat cat. Like I was just telling Jason how for Tyson Fury to make the same money in one night that it's going to take Justin Jefferson 4 years to make is insane, bro.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy money. But that's what's actually happening, Severe. When you were talking earlier about you wish boxing. So the next unification fight you're about to see is going to be Better BF versus Bivol.
Yeah,
that's the one that Turkey Al-Sheikh's most intrigued about. He feels like those are really the two bests coming at each other. So that's going to be happening in October. But you're going to see a lot more of this now because I don't know if you guys have heard the rumors, but Turkey Al-Sheikh for the last month has already been talking about buying out all the promoters for like $5 billion.
That would be see. And I mean, I like it, and then I don't like it because I don't want. I like the things I like about boxing is that all the power isn't centralized, but
Right.
the thing that boxing is missing is that they're missing organization. So that's the thing. Like if there could be like I mean that's what makes these other leagues work is that there's collective bargaining, right? So everybody agrees that hey, we're going to operate under these parameters, and that's what makes these things go. And if the promotional companies and these different belts, if they can operate under some kind of collectively bargained agreement, that would be fantastic. 'Cause that's what I mean. Boxing is. I mean, like like me and Angelo were saying, like part of what killed boxing is that the popularity of the NBA. Because if this was like the 70s or even the 60s, right? Like guys like LeBron James would probably been a boxer. You know, like imagine a guy with the physical gifts of LeBron James
Bro,
being a
that's
boxer,
crazy.
right? Like
Yeah.
he really
LeBron boxing. If he had the talent, and again,
exactly,
and again, Gervonta Davis has been boxing since he was 8,
exactly.
right? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like it's different, but
Yeah,
you're
it's
right,
different.
bro.
You know what I'm saying, but these guys, a lot of these guys that are hooping, instead of hooping, they would have probably went the boxing route because the biggest stars in the world were boxers back then. So
Yeah.
you know that they would have went that route. So I think that's part of what killed boxing, but also is that the fights that people want to see aren't being made anymore, and
Mhm.
it's because of people are almost incentivized not to fight these big fights.
Mhm.
So I think if there was more organization, because in the UFC we don't see that, right? The fights people want to see
Yeah, they
at
don't
some
make as
point
much
Yeah.
money, but
they
yes,
don't make as
Yeah.
much money, but people
Yeah.
see the fights they want to see
Yeah.
pretty
generally,
much.
right?
Because Dana White
That's
will
why.
so that's the big difference
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
Jason, I'll let you go.
Oh
But
no.
that Turkey Alex Sheik is off. Like he's saying, "Hey, Jason, you're the best, and Severe, you're the best, and I want to make the two of you fight happen. So just tell me how much you want, because I got all this oil money."
Exactly.
100 million.
Exactly.
You
Right.
you know what
100
I'm
million.
saying? Like he's just throwing it at him. He just
Man.
and then what he's doing too is, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the one that he did in Riyadh when he was pumping up the first one, when he was like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna open up Riyadh. It's gonna be Tyson Fury and Ngannou and the whole bit," right? Bro, the fact that he did a halftime type show, did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That is insane,
That
dude.
was
He had
crazy.
Lil Baby, he
Yeah.
had Skrillex, he had Becky G. I was like,
That's
this is better than Super Bowl halftime.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna say you get more.
and
God.
that's the entertainment factor, man. And that's I mean that's what hey, I don't need to see no ring girls, man. Like a good show like that. That is what people like. I don't care about no skinny girl walking with a cardboard box, over her head. Like I don't care about that. Like give me some entertainment, some real entertainment, and that's what I like to see, man. So I
So,
mean,
the
Turkey is he's saving boxing, man. He is saving boxing.
he's the face of boxing for sure. The one for Fury Usyk,
In
you're the
America.
one that hit me up to him because I didn't know who he was. I mean, I like the music because I've heard it when I played NBA 2K before, but I didn't know who it was. And it was JID.
Yeah,
But the way they did that concert and in
was-
Riyadh, dude, where he's like above the ring, suspended,
yeah.
right? And then they're doing like these lights. I was like, damn, if they do this, and then I just heard Jason. I was telling Severe he's got to get to that August 3rd in LA, man. They got Eminem doing the show.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
how much is an
amazing.
Eminem concert, guys? Like, if
Oh,
you were
right.
just gonna go to an Eminem concert, how much is it?
A bunch. I don't
Right.
even know. A
But
bunch.
for
I-
that to be
More-
a part
More
of
than Raider tickets for sure.
more
Yeah.
than Raider tickets, okay. So for an
Yeah.
Eminem concert for your generation to
Mhm.
be a part of Terrence Crawford versus Madrimov,
yeah.
Jared Anderson heavyweight versus Martin Bacoli,
Yeah.
Big Boy, Andy Ruiz versus
Yes.
Jarrell Miller,
Yeah.
Isaac Pitbull Cruz, dude.
Yes.
I mean, like,
That's
bro,
that's a
insane.
stack.
Like,
That's
how
a stack
much
card
money-
too.
How much money do
Yeah.
you think is being spent by Turkey Alex Sheik to do
Man.
that LA card? How much money do you think it is?
Man, yeah, it's in the probably 9 figure, close to 9 figures, close to 9
Bro,
figures, man.
And think about, like, I think he targeted LA because I think he's trying to bring it back. Like, let me see how many stars are going to be in the front row.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
who's
they
all
got-
going to be up in this?
And of course, they got the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He gonna go where the money at. Go where the
Yeah.
stars at.
Yep. But again, man, I'm trying not to hijack it on boxing, but Severe keeps poking the bear here. No, so Jason, so Antonio Pierce spoke. What'd you get out of what he was saying? I got some cool shit out of it, but what he spoke today, and you know, Antonio Pierce, when he speaks, it's always straight up for real. What'd you get out of it?
I mean, I'm not worried. I know we're a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Like we're stacking it up. Like I feel like the things that I kind of got from it is, I don't know, he's making them work. You know what I'm saying? It's no more like of things given to everybody. Like, you know, oh, you're getting this because you're getting this dollar. It's everybody's putting the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's actually a competition. You know what I mean? And it's like you're gonna get the best out of the best. And everywhere along, like what we got, like I love our D line, what we brought back. You know what I'm saying? Like we've never kept our main pieces before. You know what I'm saying? It was always somebody would outbid us in free agency. You know what I mean? If they played good, and then if they were bad, then it was just another bad decision we made. But the one thing that I was, you know, kind of, because, you know, as we were talking about our need for DB and everything like that, right? Like we were thinking, you know, that our second DB or fourth DB wasn't on the roster. And like the last couple of press conferences, we've heard face on, you know what I mean? We've heard Bennett taking that next step, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like maybe because they're kind of keeping it hush hush, but it's starting to come out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's so crazy because I'm thinking we definitely needed another vet. You know what I'm saying? But if Bennett, because I did like Bennett is like what I seen from him in college, that he was a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think last year it was kind of just him being lost. It was kind of just, you know, he's seen a lot, you know what I'm saying? Especially to be a rookie too, coming in, you're gonna see some coverages, but now he knows how to respond to those coverages because they were he was
I heard he
getting lit
picked
up.
off Aiden O'Connell on the other day.
He was the first, I think, first pick.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we do got our guys, and then maybe
That's what I was saying on your show, Jason, a
Mhm.
couple of Saturdays ago. I'm like, why are we trying to spend all this money on other people? Like, let's just spend it on our people, right?
You
But
know us.
What'd you get out of it today, Severe? Like when AP spoke, he spoke for about 25 minutes. What'd you get out of the whole talk?
Man, just his energy, man, and his passion. Like anytime AP speaks, man, it's always a certain level of intensity that's there. And you can tell, man, he's all business. One thing I took of note is that, well, two players he talked about in particular. He talked about these guys, and one guy was a surprise, was Trey Tucker. He talked about the humongous leap that Trey Tucker took, and admittedly, man, I did not, when we drafted Trey Tucker, I was upset because one of my favorite receivers in that draft class was Jalen Hyatt. And we had an opportunity to draft Jalen Hyatt. And instead of drafting Jalen Hyatt, we drafted Byron Young. And then we came in later in the third round, we drafted Trey Tucker. So I was mad about not getting Jalen Hyatt because he was a guy that was a dog. I want to say he won the Biletnikoff Award that year. If I'm not
mistaken.
No.
And Jalen Hyatt showed it too in with the Giants last year, like in the later part. He's a dog for sure. But you're not mad now.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, if Trey Tucker does what AP is saying he's going to do, then I'm good. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a guy who I keep telling people all the time, I keep singing this guy's praises, and people keep trying to downplay him, but I always talk about Jacoby Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about how underrated he is as a player. Yeah. And, you know, we heard Puka Nacua. They just asked him, hey, who was the most underrated wide receiver in the league? And he said off top 16, the guy that plays for y'all. And now we hear AP talk about him today, saying like all the things that he does, not only as a pass catcher. So he could easily be 1,000-yard receiver if he wanted to, you know, 100 catches. But, you know, what he does not only as a pass catcher, but just as a blocker. And I think that is extremely underrated. And I noticed Trey Tucker, for as little as he is, you know, he's kind of following that lead as well. They, you know, he'll come down and he'll lay a block. But Jacoby will lay a block on the defensive end. You know, he'll lay a block on a linebacker. And so, you know, just that level of toughness out of that position, that's usually, you know, they're you know, basically labeled as divas or whatnot. He's a guy that's, you know, he's lunch pail, blue collar, coming to work, you know, and lay a hat on you. So, man, I was happy to see, you know, those two guys get some praise. So hopefully if Trey Tucker could be that deep that we need, man, I think that will really unlock this offense.
Man, that's a great take. That's a great take from both of you guys, actually. And shout out to the chat too, man. I see you guys chatting about boxing. I love this chat already. So thank you for. I promise I'm gonna address all of that. One thing about Jacoby, because you mentioned that Antonio Pierce talked about it, is he was boxing with Nate Hobbs and Max, and at one point Gardner Minshew was trying to get in there, but then I guess one of the coaches said, "Nah, you can't do that because you're a quarterback, right?" But you see, like I just love it, dude, because it's like, damn, man, like Jacoby is a dog. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like this is how much of a Raider fan I am, man. This was stupid in terms of fantasy football, but I was in the league last year. It was like a podcast league, local here in Vegas, Gridiron Junkies, and my wide receiver 2 that I picked before anyone even knew about him was Jacoby Myers. I was like, Jacoby Myers is my guy.
He paid off for you early.
He did actually.
Hey, that Denver game with that two TDs.
I started him all year because there was I think on like my Instagram I did this one take about Devontae Adams and how this one dude got Devontae, and I was saying because of what Josh McDaniels did, I was like, Devontae for fantasy is worthless, man. He's not going to give you jack, right? So I picked up Jacoby. The one mistake I made is the first tight end I took off the board. This is how much of a Raider fan I am, guys, to the chat room and everybody who's listening to this. I took Michael Mayer, bro, and everybody thought I was crazy. I took Michael because I really thought last year he was going to be like baby Gronk, right?
I was too.
Yeah, I believed the Notre Dame hype, so I was like, I'm in. But this year, man, in fantasy football, I'm not even going to trip. I'll take Brock Bowers. I'll take Zeus. Like nobody's talking about Zeus. I think Zeus is getting a ton of yards, bro.
Man, I've been talking about Zeus for 2 years, man. I've been the only person on that soapbox. People have been calling me crazy. Like the game before he started, I hit up Big Mike and I hit up Pharaoh on IG, and I was like, Zeus is gonna have a big game. Watch. And then he came out there and he balled. Because I've been saying for a long time, like I watched him play at Georgia, and I was saying like he's a good player. He's just not being, and he's a guy that he needs more than just some spot carries here or there. If he knows he's going to get the entire game, he's going to run differently. And I was like, as soon as he gets an opportunity, I was like, that's why Josh would never come out the game. Josh made sure he would never, anytime they would try to sub him out, he would wave people off because he knew he better not come out the game. And I knew as soon as Zeus got a chance, he would play well. And he played well for like almost 5 yards per carry down the stretch, carried us to a win against the Chiefs. So I'm not worried about a running game. And Dylan Lobby, that's a guy I was talking about early too.
Okay.
Like way before the Senior Bowl, like early in the process, people were talking about, hey, what are some late round running backs we can get? I said Dylan Lobby. I put Big Mike. As a matter of fact, I put Big Mike on him, and Mike did a breakdown of on Dylan Lobby on this 30 days, 30 prospects. You guys want a little bit more info on Dylan Lobby. That's your shameless plug. But go check that out. It's some good stuff.
No, go ahead, man. This is what Captain Jack's channel is for. Plug your stuff, dude. So they can watch it at what? The Severe Raider they just go to the Severe Raider.
It's on Big Mike's channel. It's on Big Mike's channel. So that's shout out to my boy, man. So and Dylan Lobby's guy I was on early in the process, and I really liked. So I think our running game is going to be good, man. I think our running game is going to be. The only thing I'm really worried about is how well Thayer takes over that right tackle spot. That's still a concern. I know they're talking him up right now, but I don't think he has the requisite athleticism to be a full-time right tackle in a zone blocking scheme. I know they've been trying to say, and I know he's lost some weight, so maybe that helps. But it's like, even if you lose weight, it's like boxing, right? Even if a guy loses some weight, if you have slow feet as a boxer, if you're not mobile in the ring, like losing weight is not necessarily, it's going to help a little bit. But if you're just a slow-footed guy, if you have slow hands, losing weight is not going to make your hands faster, right? It's just, you are what you are, So I just worry about that with Thayer. So we'll see if we can get that right side of the line. If that can be, because I know I'm not, the left side should be good. If Colton is healthy and Jackson Power Jackson are healthy, we're good over there. It's just that right side, and mainly though Thayer.
I'm gonna throw a theory out there, Jason. Go ahead. You go right now. Then I'm gonna throw a theory out with you guys. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I just heard he was rehabbing that. Colt Miller was rehabbing that left shoulder surgery. So hopefully you guys think he'll be there for the start of everything.
All right. So see, that's I'm glad you said that, because that's my segue into this theory.
Okay.
I've been saying that because of, you even saw it a little bit last year in the later part of the year, how we kept just rotating the O lines, right? Yeah. And O line is something we're really going to need, because the type of quarterback Aiden O'Connell is a sniper. He's a sniper type quarterback. That's, yes. I'm just giving it to you guys straight. He ain't gonna, I mean, if you protect them and you give them the same amount of time that they were giving Lamar Jackson, you know, Aiden will pick you apart. But if he's getting rushed, man, not you know, like he had some good escapes last year. You know, I've seen the I saw the tape Don't Lie breakdown with Marcus Johnson. You know, so I saw the escapability. I believe in it, and I'm an Aiden O'Connell guy. But I'm just saying, right? And then the thing about Gardner Minshew, and I know some people believe that Gardner Minshew will get the start. I don't, but some people do. Is Gardner Minshew is a good leader. Like, can we agree? Just a leader. He's just one of those people that dudes are going to follow, but his arm talent ain't great. His accuracy isn't amazing. Like he's kind of like your handyman, you know, like he can do a bunch of stuff in your house, but he ain't a licensed contractor for plumbing. For, you know what I'm saying? For making a roof. Like he'll get you there. He'll get you there. But versus we know what Aiden does. Aiden throws the ball. He throws it accurate. He gets it out there. So I have this theory. I think you're going to go on a show tonight with Paul, right? 805 Raider later on today. Severe.
It's going to drop on Monday, but we're
Monday. Okay, all right. You guys are going to tape
recording tonight. Yeah,
you're recording that. All right. Yeah. So I even wrote it on Paul's page where I was like, nah, I think we're going to carry like 10 O line, which is a lot on a 53 man roster, but I really do, because you know Jason just talked about Colton Miller's shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. And if we say, okay, you're into 53, then you're in. So now what do we do? You know, because whoever we don't get, other people can get them from the practice squad and everything else. So I really think we're carrying 10. At the minimum 9, we're going to carry 9 going into the regular season, but we might carry 10. So I have this theory that what I took from what Antonio Pierce said today is he said, I gave the guys a break today because, you know, it's too hot and there's no need. I told them to decompress, but he also said, just because I'm asking you to take time off doesn't mean I'm asking you to not work on your craft. Exactly. And then he also said, and when everybody comes back, we're not going to move backwards. So whoever knows the playbook the best is who we're taking with us forward. And he even said, I don't care if you are a first round draft choice. I don't care if you got contract this. So and we already know AP doesn't lie. He gives it to you straight.
Yeah.
I think he was sending a message like whoever has the plays down that we don't have to move backwards on. We just want people who move forward. And I remember I had this conversation with Stuart Schwaggart where he, you know, when Stu calls or when I call him, we most of the time we talk about life, right? But then boxing will come into play because Stu loves boxing, and he'll ask me like questions from back when I was, you know, an assistant to Freddie and everything else. So he was like, hey, how long does it take for a fighter to get ready to be in camp, like when you're getting ready for fight? And I said, well, when I talked to Freddie Roach, you know, back in those days, basically he said, if a fighter comes into camp already in shape, it'll only take 2 weeks to make the proper adjustments to get them ready moving on. So an 8-week boxing training camp is not supposed to be 8 weeks of you losing weight, you getting in shape. It's supposed to be you come in and you're in shape, and then your 8 weeks is progressing you to get ready for the title fight, right? So I think we did that. Now we did that part already. And when they come back after July into that, you notice they're taking them to LA, right? And then they're going to do the training camp there. I think that's the one where they're going to weed people out. And I think the weed out's going to be fast. So I expect Cody Whitehair to stay on board because he knows the offense that Getsy's running. I expect Andrews Pete to go on because James Craig has known that kid since like high school or something.
Yeah.
So I have this theory. I'm gonna throw it out to you two, and I'm gonna see what you say. Because I've heard it several times, and I'm like, this might be what's happening. What if Thayer Mumford's really going to be left tackle? Ooh. And what if Dalton Wagner's actually the guy that nobody's been talking about that might actually fill that right side? Because I saw the tapes don't lie with Marcus Johnson breaking down Dalton Wagner. And what he said is he's good for pass protection. He's just kind of slow feet for run, right? Yeah. But the question, though, is would you let a big boy like that go? I mean, like Tyson Fury, 6'9", 290. You know, Zhang is 6'6", 280. Like, you can't teach size, bro.
Yeah,
and Dalton Wagner's 6'8", 330. Yeah. Like, are we letting that guy go? Am I crazy for thinking that maybe Mumford's going left side? Like, they'll kind of have him on the right, but if Colton Miller doesn't really, if his shoulder's not ready to go, there might be a different starting left, starting right. Yeah. What do you think? Am I crazy for throwing this out there and making the chat go wild? What do you think?
Because the thing, like, go ahead, Samir.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's because like when you get surgery on your shoulder, right? You can't work out, you can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take a minute to like for him to build up strength and everything while he's letting that thing heal. So you could be right. I could see, because like we know Thayer was really on the left side, so it would be more comfortable for him, even though he's playing right tackle now. It's just because they asked him to, you know what I mean? But I think if we had him on the left side, I would like to see Wagner. I definitely want to see some more Wagner. I know we're going to see a lot in preseason because I was really excited about that pickup. But at the same time, that was when our line was hideous. You know what I'm saying? Like we gained a little bit now. So it's kind of like Wagner's kind of in that back. But being that he's another year in the system too, you know what I'm saying? Him being there with the team another year. And that is a big boy. Like you said, you can't teach size. But I would definitely like to see that. And then, with Whitehair, I wasn't really too familiar with him before he came over. But
yeah, he was in Chicago, bro. He was in Chicago with Luke Getsy. Yeah. And that's the system that Devontae is really familiar with. And Cody Whitehair is really familiar with it. And the good thing about Cody Whitehair is he could go left guard, right guard. But he's a guard. Yeah. So we're not losing that guy, right?
Because that's where we really needed people was the guards. Because I felt like, we were talking tackles and stuff like that, but shit, we needed help in the inside too. But
yeah, man, I think you might be crazy, Angela. I think you might be crazy.
I'm crazy. Go ahead.
I mean, I think if it's a situation where Colton can't go, I think Craig has already stated, and Thayer Mumford said himself, he feels better on the left side. He's more comfortable on the left side. He played left at Ohio State. I think he only lost the job because Paris Johnson came along. We know what kind of player Paris Johnson is. So to take one for the team, he moved inside. But I think he prefers playing left. But I don't like if we're going to keep moving guys back and forth. I don't like that just because. If that's a guy's designated position is like swing tackle, like that's kind of what Illuminor was last year, basically a swing tackle. If Miller goes down, hey, you know what? You're gonna play left. But I'd rather just keep Thayer where he's at, and and I think they got Pete out there right now. Honestly, I'm not the fan of Andrews Pete, but I don't want to keep tinkering. It might be, but it may be a situation where we may have to, right? We may have to move Thayer over there, and we may have to see, Dalton Wagner, who in my opinion wasn't hurt last year. I think the Raiders redshirted him last year, and that was because they didn't want to take a chance putting him on the practice squad and somebody taking him. So I think that was essentially them redshirting it, and that was something that the Patriots did all the time. Matter of fact, they got in trouble previously. The Patriots did. for guys who are on the injured reserve, quote unquote, practicing. So I think that was what they did with Dalton Wagner. That was a stash. How this new regime feels about him, I don't necessarily know, but he's a guy that does have talent. I saw it, when I was watching tape with somebody else, and Dalton Wagner just kept popping off the screen, like just dominating people. And in terms of the 10 linemen, I think that's kind of I think we might keep 9. But just
not
because
9
I think
at the very least, though, right?
I think to me 9 is the most, because I think we want to keep 4 tight ends too. I think Brock Bowers is going to stay for sure. Obviously, Michael Mayer is going to stay. I think Michael Mayer is going to have a monster season. I think Michael Mayer, he's on a revenge tour this year. I think he's a man on a mission. He's pissed off that they drafted Brock high, and I think he's going to have a big season. I know they like Fotheringham, and from what I hear, on scout team, Fotheringham is a monster. Like nobody can stop him. And then I think they like Harrison Bryant as well for what he does. As a blocker. And we talk about Brock Bowers and winning the Mackey Award. Harrison Bryant is also a guy that won the Mackey Award too. So we can't forget about him as well, and the contributions that he can make. And he also will probably be a core special teamer too. So I think we want to keep 4 tight ends because we want to run a lot of 12 personnel. We'll probably want some 13 personnel too. So
here's another one that's really gonna get your bubble bursting. I said that we will go with 3 tight ends on the 53-man roster. The 3 tight ends will be Harrison Bryant, Michael Mayer, and it's either going to be Cole or it'll be Gentry, depending on if his injury doesn't affect him. And Bowers is going to take up one of the 6 wide receiver slots. So I only got 5 wide receivers going in, and it was going to be Jacoby, Tay, Trey Tucker, and then let's see if Gallup and Guyton or if they get beat out. But I had Brock Bowers getting that, like, when you're playing Madden, you put a tight end.
The only reason I would push back on that, because I see what you're saying. Only reason I say they won't do that is just because, remember, this was taking it back, but there was a year that Jimmy Graham got franchised, and he was mad because he got franchised as a tight end, even though he spent like a little bit more than 50% of his snaps, out basically playing at wide receiver. So I think the Raiders would rather have Brock Bowers, especially if they think he's going to be what they think he's going to be, or what a lot of these fans are saying he's going to be. If they think he's going to be that kind of guy, come when it's contract time, you'd rather have to pay him as a tight end than pay him as a wide receiver. So I think it would.
You're talking about finance. Financially,
exactly. Okay. It would behoove them to say he's a tight end rather than a wide receiver, because that helps them in terms of negotiations. So I think he's going to play everywhere. He's going to be split out wide. He's going to be in the backfield. He's going to carry the ball. He's going to do all that stuff. But I think, like I said, just for those purposes, it will behoove them to say he's a tight end.
Okay.
Yeah, I like your take on that too. Even the I think they will put him as, because I would have Bowers, I would have Mayer, like you said, Fotheringham. But see, the thing with those, they're all catching. That's why I say I think, like you said, we'll get 4, because Harrison Bryant is more of the blocking back, because Fotheringham is a target. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely can get out there. So, and that would be wicked. Like, we were seeing that in the tight end department, we're cool. Even like how we were talking about with Trey Tucker, he's the question mark of, like, in my personal opinion, of, because we know what Jacoby is, we know what Devontae is, but we need Trey Tucker to be the best Trey Tucker for this offense to work, and work to perfection. Because, like, with him not just being a threat to just run down the field, but if they know he's got hands, he can catch the ball and get ghosts. Like, that's how we're going to be a threat, because that's going to open up everything for, I mean, that's why I say Aiden can't fail. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like, this offense is built so nicely. Like, look how much we've come in a year from last year, the year before that disaster, and look where we are now. It's so crazy. Like, when I think about because really Trey Tucker, I say he's the question mark, but that's a damn good question mark to have. You know what I'm saying? It's just we need him to, for what he did last year, to take it up a notch, man. We need you to take it up a notch and be that dude. Because he needs.
So I know you want to say it, Jason. I know you want to say it. Who is Aiden O'Connell? He's baby Kurt, right?
That's baby Kurt. Baby
Kurt Warner.
baby Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. I know severe stuff. Think about it. Like, all right. I'm gonna circle back because I saw and shout out to the chat. Thank you guys I see so many boxing comments. So I really appreciate this chat. I'm gonna put this one out. Rick San Marino put Mike Tyson was a beast. And maybe he's still a little nuts, but
he came back though. He came back.
But he came back.
He bounced back.
Constantine kept him in check. Once he passed away, it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this, right? And you guys both know that I've been pumping you on to this guy, Ben Whitaker.
Yeah.
6'3".
You called him Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, okay, first of all,
that is high praise.
Ben Whitaker, guys. Ben Whitaker, Rick Salmerano, and all you guys who are on the chat who love boxing, look up Ben Whitaker. So first of all, to the kids like Severe's 4-year-old, did you see the promos that they're doing? It's like Naruto promos. They got them all cartoon-like, right?
Yeah,
so
smart.
Yeah, that's smart, right? Like they're saying to you that boxing is relatable to the young generation, and that like when like Knockout Chaos, when they did Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, they did a whole it looked like Street Fighter. It looked like a video game the way they were promoting it. So I mean, again, the marketing here is smart, but that guy Ben Whitaker, guys, that's how I feel Aiden O'Connell's going to be for us this year. That's where Aiden O'Connell is my Ben Whitaker of football. Like where no one believes in him yet. Like they think, he's not as good as Roy Jones Jr., but he's Ben Whitaker's 6'3". He's fast, bro. Yeah. He got power. He's got speed. They're bringing him along nicely. They're letting him compete against tough opponents, but at the level that he's supposed to be fighting. They're not having him. They're not like feeding him to the wolves. Like when you said Frank Martin, it might have been too early for him to fight Gervonta, right? Ben Whitaker doesn't got to take that step yet. But like the next guy he's fighting, I told you, bro, these British, some of these new boxers, man, that guy he's fighting is 12-0, 9 knockouts. Ezra Aranyaka from Africa, right? That dude's got a PhD, man. He's a doctor.
I will say this. I will push back on your Ben Whitaker comparison for these reasons. For this main reason. I can see where you're going with it. But I would say Ben Whitaker has, from what I've seen, exceptional physical tools. And that is what Aiden O'Connell does not have.
For quarterback though, bro. For quarterback,
even as a quarterback.
Does Aiden O'Connell not have the same physical tools that Kurt Warner had when he was backing up Trent Green?
But how many of those guys fail though? So like I think there are more guys that have Kurt Warner's level of physical ability that fail than succeed.
But that's the thing though, is that's why we're calling him Baby Kurt, because he's younger.
I say that Aiden O'Connell is Chad Pennington.
On
the Jets.
I hope not. I hope not.
Ben Whitaker's garbage.
Chad Pennington was a very serviceable quarterback who had some weapons around him. He had Lavernius Coles, Santana Moss. He had I think Curtis Martin was still playing with them. He had some, and Anthony Becht. He had some solid weapons around him. And he did well to distribute the ball. They had a good defense, and he led them to the playoffs. He took them to the playoffs in the in the AFC East. And he's a guy that look. He was a first-round pick. All right, if you want to talk, Chad Pennington was a first-round pick. So I don't know. That's taken in the fourth, and some people thought that was
Jason.
early.
You take offense to that.
Because just that comparison. Because like the Chad Pennington that I remember was trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I figure I would put Aiden on a better.
After he had shoulder surgery, he was not the same. But he won comeback player of the year. Champion was a good quarterback. He wasn't like he's Aiden. I mean, people have this idea that Aiden O'Connell was some guy that he isn't. Like he was average last year. If he's better than average this year, that'd be an improvement. Like I say, saying he's a Hall of Kurt Warner came right into the league and won MVP.
But when Kurt Warner came into the league, remember the controversy was, oh no, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Are you gonna rally behind Kurt Warner? That was the entire movie, bro.
Yeah,
the entire movie is no one.
But Kurt Warner immediately, like it wasn't like like it wasn't no wait and see. Kurt Warner immediately came out and started dominating. It wasn't like, okay, well,
bro, Kurt Warner had Hall of Fame wide receivers and Hall of Fame running backs.
That's what I was gonna say. That
we have Devontae Adams.
It's kind of is this.
We had Devontae Adams and we have Jacoby Myers. Yeah, we have the best wide receiver in the league, and we have a top 5 number 2 wide receiver in the league. Now, I don't think I think Devontae is better than Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. But Jacoby is not on neither one of their levels. I'm not going to kid myself, right? Those are 2 great receivers. But he has weapons around him. He has weapons around him. He had the league's leading rusher from the year before. Now, Josh Jacobs is no Marshall Faulk.
Who was Kurt Warner's running back? Who was Kurt Warner's running back?
It was Marshall Faulk. Yeah, Josh Jacobs ain't Marshall Faulk. I will.
Are you saying Zeus is Marshall Faulk?
Never.
Huh?
Are you saying Zeus is Marshall Faulk?
No, nah, man. Oh my God, not on this. Not if Zamir White dreams about being Marshall Faulk, he better wake up and say sorry to Marshall Faulk. Like I'm a Zeus fan, but he's not that. I think if Zeus can be like a solid, to good running back, that's I kind of think that's his ceiling. But that's all you need. If you have a good passing game, you don't need some elite. Like you don't need some elite running back. Look at the teams that were in the playoffs. None of them had elite running backs. I mean, I guess the closest one might have been Aaron Jones, but he was hurt. And Christian McCaffrey, but that was it. But they bit their offense around Christian McCaffrey. I don't think we're gonna do that with Zamir. So I think, man, I like Aiden. I think he's a solid player. I think he's a professional quarterback. But I don't think he's a Hall of Fame. Like Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer. Kurt Warner's a multiple-time Pro Bowler.
Our point, though, what me and Jason are saying is when he was coming as the backup, people didn't even like him as the backup. And then when he had to take over for Trent Green, no one was thinking he was a Hall of Fame quarterback. He didn't become a Hall of Fame quarterback till after he proved all these things. So if he can do it, is what me and Jason is saying, why can't you believe in Aiden the way people believed in Kurt?
The difference is that nobody had ever seen Kurt play professional football. I've seen Aiden O'Connell play. I've seen Aiden O'Connell lose a 3-0 game. I've seen him go 3 quarters without completing the pass. Like these are things I've seen. Of course, that was him as a rookie. And it wasn't in an ideal situation. I will concede that. But even like the worst quarterbacks can complete a pass over the course of 3 quarters. Like he couldn't do that. So I'm setting my expectation.
Man, you're really hard, bro. You're being so hard on Aiden O'Connell because if you've really seen Aiden O'Connell, and I know Jason will agree with this, his best year in college was the year before he got drafted. Goes to the bowl game, right? He's tons of highlights in that 2022 year, I think it was, and everybody said had he decided to go to the draft that year, he would have been in the first round, top 15 pick. Instead, he stays with the garbagey team, right? Does his best, does the right thing, and then he ends up getting picked in the 4th, right? So it's not like the ability's not there. It's not like he's not good, right? He was playing in a Big Ten. Purdue is they had tough opponents. He was playing Ohio State. He was playing Michigan. He was playing Michigan State. Like he was playing real dogs. Man, so that's why I'm just saying to you that my hope and my excitement for what Aiden O'Connell's going to do, and maybe it's because I talked to Stu, and Stu's really into Aiden O'Connell, right?
Because he knows him. But come on, that's
he knows him personally. No, but I'm just saying, like, this is like I don't know Ben Whitaker personally, but I really like that kid, and I really do think that if his trajectory keeps being as good as what it is, he's going to be the next Roy Jones Jr. that everybody will talk about. Your 4-year-old, when he's 8, is going to say, Daddy, you see this guy, Ben Whitaker, the transplant?
See, and like I'm looking at the chat right now, and that's what people like. This is what people do. People will do things like they give people credit for not doing things they shouldn't do. Like, oh, he didn't throw any interceptions. Like, yeah, he shouldn't throw it. Like, that's not what like that's like me like going into a boxing match. Like, I didn't get knocked out. Like, yeah, I lost every single round, but hey, I didn't get knocked. Like, I didn't hit, but I'm in the fight. I didn't throw a low blow the entire fight. Like, I should get some. Like, you don't get credit for that. That's something you shouldn't do, right? Like, it's not like he was out there like gunslinging, right? That's and part of the reason.
But if you didn't have a coach though, and you did that,
yeah, that's what I said. I can see like he wasn't in an ideal situation from a coaching standpoint. I think he's in a much better situation now. I think he would have been in a much better situation had we kept Cliff Kingsbury, even though I know a lot of people didn't like that hire because he ran an air raid system at Purdue. So I think that would have been ideal for him because I think that would have been going right back to something he's familiar with. So I think that would have actually set him up a little bit better. Lugetti runs a little bit more vertical stuff, and while Aiden O'Connell, he has probably the best arm on the team. His arm is not a great. It's like a B- arm, right? It's not like it's some elite arm. It's good. It's good enough to make the throws, but it's not some like rocket where he's out there. Like,
would you say that his arm is comparable to Eli Manning? Yeah, that's right.
I think
that's
Eli has
right.
More
that
arm
was
talent.
the knockout blow. Yeah,
I think Eli has more arm talent. I think Eli has more arm talent.
Yeah, I would take that better than the Chad Pennington one. I'll take Eli. I'll take Eli
has more
over
arm
Chad
talent.
Pennington.
I think Eli is a solid comparison too. Eli is a solid comparison too. But
no, I'll take that one. I like.
But
that.
Think about Eli. Eli was a gamer. And that's what Aiden O'Connell hasn't proven to be. Yeah. And we'll see. Maybe he'll develop that. But Eli was in the biggest moments. Eli was at his best, and in our biggest moments, perfect example, our 2 biggest games of the year, I would say, was that Minnesota game coming off the bye week where we needed that win to keep us in the playoff hunt. Aiden O'Connell laid an egg. Then and then kind of when we had no expectations going into the Chargers game, he blows up, right? Yeah. And then we have another big game on Christmas Day against the Chiefs, and what does he do? He lays an egg. Yeah.
He didn't lose the game though. And again, man, I'm just going off of your guess. Yeah. This is your guess from the 50-50 show. Yeah. Marcus Johnson talked about some in the Kansas City Chiefs game. So he didn't lose the game. He wasn't the reason why we would have lost the game. Yeah. And
he didn't complete a pass for 3 quarters.
No, I'm just saying, okay. And let me just say this. During our chance to go to the playoffs, where we got robbed because of the Jack Jones bogus offsides call. If you look at that Colts game, Aiden was on. Aiden was hot on that game. So he's good enough. He's definitely good enough to do that. See? He's Ben Whitaker, baby. That game
was a good game. He did have a good game. And he played well against the Broncos, too, to close out the year. He had a good game to close out the year against the Broncos. So I think he ended the year with some momentum. He's kind of, I think the quarterback play, from what I've heard, has been kind of spotty, even though like the coaches are saying one thing, but if you read the beat writers, they're saying basically both guys are pretty bad, or both guys are been mediocre. Neither guy has really separated himself. So, but that's to be expected because they're installing a new offense right now. I think they're going against a team that's likely going to be a top 5 defense going into this year. So it's expected the quarterback play to be kind of spotty this year. So this is his year, man. I think he should win the job early on. I thought I was thinking maybe they go with the more experienced guy with Gardner because of Devontae, but from all accounts, Aiden O'Connell's doing everything he's supposed to do this offseason. And if he continues that track, I think he's going to be the starter. I think he has a wealth of weapons at his disposal. A head coach that believes in him, that started him right out of the gate last year. Offensive coordinator that believes in him, that I think is going to put him in positions to do the things that he does well. So I think this is his opportunity. And I think he's going to take this opportunity and be Chad Pennington, man. I think he's gonna be Chad
Oh
Pennington.
man,
He's gonna go to the playoffs. Chad Pennington
Hey.
went to the playoffs.
Hey, if he goes to the playoffs, hey,
Chad
man,
Pennington
I'll
went
take
to the playoffs.
Look,
Why is that such a bad? Like y'all went like Chad Pennington. He went to
Yeah.
the playoffs.
because
If
that's
it
not
wasn't for us, he
yeah.
would have went further. We beat him in the playoffs.
That's like a Rick Meyer, or you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like
man, I wouldn't say Rick
when
Meyer. I think that's.
when
I think like, I like Chad Pennington. I thought Chad
Yeah.
Pennington was a good player. I thought Chad Pennington was like a 12 to 15-ish quarterback, and I think that's about where Aiden O'Connell is going to slot. He's going to be somewhere in that 12 to 15 range. Like I don't think he's like some. I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he's a great player. I think he's a he's a pretty good player. Like
So-
we'll look back like, oh man, that guy's pretty good.
it's
So
gonna
that's how
he's
you
a-
see Ben. Is that how you see Ben Whitaker right now? You're like, he's
No,
pretty good.
I see Ben Whitaker. I see a guy with extreme physical talent. Ben Whitaker is Anthony Richardson.
yeah.
Like,
Okay, he's
Ben Whitaker-
fighting real opponents though. You get that,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
He's not
Anthony
fighting
Richardson is
losers,
not
dude.
playing against fake NFL players. He's playing against.
Yeah.
He was playing against. Like last I checked, like they didn't sub out some
Well, Anthony
artificial.
Richardson got hurt too, bro. Like
Yeah,
he
but, like-
didn't make an entire season.
Yeah, he's a guy that has all the physical tools. Who actually came out better than I thought he was going to be. Like last year, I said C.J. Stroud was the best quarterback in the draft. I said it wasn't close. I'm a guy that was early on in the process. I said Jaden Daniels was my QB1. Like before anybody was saying it, like week 4 of the college season, I said he was my QB1. I had Michael Penix QB2. People said Michael Penix wouldn't go in the first round. I said there's a chance we might have to take Michael Penix at 13. They said no way in the world. Then I started saying there's a chance we might have to trade up into the top 10 to take Michael Penix. They said, Severe, you're crazy. And then Michael Penix went 8, and everybody shut up.
That was so crazy when that happened too. That threw off everybody.
Hey, let me say this real quick, Jason. So Matt Marinovich put this up. Brock Bowers, businessman. Can I just say to Devontae Adams, if he ever listens to the Captain Jack channel, that's a terrible nickname. That is you called him BM, dude. That's horrible.
That was
Bro, stop giving nicknames. Like Mike Tyson
was...
gave David Benavidez a really good nickname when he called him the Mexican Monster, right? You know what his nickname was before that his manager gave him? Samson Lekowitz. Do you know what it is, Severe? What David Benavidez's nickname is? Jason? No. Okay. So David Benavidez's nickname, David Benavidez, guys who are still on the chat or listening to us, David Benavidez fighting this weekend. He's fighting for the 175 WBC title. He's the guy that Canelo's really scared of.
Just been ducking
him for like 4 years. It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
So David Benavidez, his nickname is the Mexican Monster, and Mike Tyson is the one that gave it to him on a show, right? His original nickname that his manager Samson Lekowitz gave him is the Red Flag, and you know why? And you know why he called him the Red Flag? Check this out. This is really deep. He called him the Red Flag because when you go to the beach and you see that red flag in the ocean,
you just get out of the water.
You're not supposed to go there.
What kind of 3-dimensional a nickname should be very obvious. Like if like that's what, man, when I heard Devontae call Brock Bowers BM, I said, what? Like I don't know if Devontae forgot what BM stands for.
Yeah.
But I was like, bro, it's not you don't want to walk around calling
baby mama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't walk around calling no other grown man BM, bro. That's like, keep that on,
BM,
the businessman, and the businessman is the worst. That has to be the worst nickname.
I like the weapon. I like the Weapon X. I like the Weapon X.
So we said that at our Raider Nation Jason show. I think it was last week. We had Afakasi and we had Cheeto Linus on, and that's what we were saying. Is I think I said it too. So let me take credit. I think it was me referring to Marvel. It might have been a combination of me and Jason talking about Marvel comics, but we called them Weapon X.
Check my thumbnail from about 3 weeks ago and look what you see.
Called them Weapon X?
I caught him.
All
on
right,
the
my
neck.
bad. We'll give the credit to Severe.
Oh, no.
We'll give the credit to he had it 3 weeks ago, guys.
I had
So
like 3 weeks
Severe's the
ago.
one that named Brock Bowers weapon.
Hey,
But
Severe,
you guys came up with that independent of me. Like you guys came, you guys came up with that independent of me, man. I was just trying to rush and find a thumbnail. I saw a cool picture of Brock Bowers. I was like, hey, this looks Weapon X right here. So, but
You
yeah,
better be
man.
Weapon X too, bro.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to be, man. I think if you take a tight end at 13, he can't just be a tight end, right? Because if you look at the tight ends, basically first round tight ends for the most part, outside
Kyle
of TJ.
Pitts.
Yeah, outside of TJ Hawkinson, all those guys have failed. Kyle Pitts put up 1,000 yards his first season, and then he's basically fallen off a cliff because of poor quarterback play. So, OJ Howard was supposed to be a can't miss prospect. He's, he's a bust. I'm trying to think of some other first round tight ends. Noah Fant, pretty much been basically a bust. So, usually tight ends in the first round, they don't succeed. So Brock Bowers, in order for him to be an exception to that rule, I want to say like outside of wide receiver, tight end has the second worst bust potential of all positions. And then if you look at all pro players from positions that have been drafted in the first round, the number of all pro players they've had over the past 20 years, know how many tight ends have been all pros that were drafted in the first round?
How many?
0. None.
Ooh.
So that's why it's a risk taking the tight ends. So not only do they have the highest bust potential, but they also have the lowest rate of guys being all pros. So us taking a tight end
really put his name out there on the Brock Bowers one then, huh?
I mean, he's a great prospect. I mean, he's a fantastic prospect. I think you can do a lot with him, but we better damn well take advantage of the things he does well, because what Georgia did with them was very specific. They did a lot of stuff where they schemed him to get him the ball in his hands, and you put the ball in his hands, he is probably the best college player for sure that I've ever seen run after catch. I want to say like something like 47% of his yards were like run after catch. I think it was like 7% more than the next nearest player. So get the ball in his hands.
Severe, you're saying that Brock Bowers is the best college player you've ever seen. Let's find out from the man who actually owns the show, Mr. Captain Jack himself. Severe Raider says Brock Bowers is the best college player he's ever seen in the 21 years he's been alive. Right, Severe?
Okay, first off, I don't own the show. I do not own the show. I keep saying this. Are we allowed to cuss on this show, by the way?
Sure, go ahead. It's your show, Cap. Cap just
like I fucking said it before. Okay, this is like the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Okay, for those that have never seen Fast Times, okay, if you've never seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, raise your hands. Anybody? Okay, good. Everybody's seen it.
Severe, you saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yeah, back in the day. That's when what's the name of those guys that they were called? All the crew that was in all those movies.
No, bro, you're talking about the Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I've never seen Fast Times.
Man, I knew you didn't. You're too young.
I've never seen Fast
you and Jason are way too young to have seen Fast One at Richmond High. It's a famous movie because of I'm forgetting the lady actress's name, but she's coming out of a pool and it's like, all sexy and like Baywatch style guys.
BB Kate's tit scene. That's all I'm gonna say. BB Kate's tit scene for young adults of my age, and Fast Times is like from I think 82. Okay.
Yeah, neither one of you were born yet.
Dude.
No, I wasn't.
Right. But by the way, who's the guy that played he played Idi Amin in the movie The Last Scotsman or something?
I know you're talking about.
Very well.
Forrest Whitaker.
No, Forrest Whitaker. Okay, Forrest Whitaker, right? Okay. Forrest Whitaker's, I think it might not have been his first movie, but it was his breakout role in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's how old this movie is. Okay, he was like a nobody, and he played Jefferson, the football star, in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This movie is so old that Nicolas Cage was Nicholas Coppola in the credits.
He had changed his name. He had named his changed his name.
He's related to Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, exactly.
He went by his real name. He went by his real name. That's how old this movie is.
Damn.
Okay, back to point. Because I haven't been on in a while. This is a Captain Jack story. I'm on the highway, and I'm going to go on the sideway and another way and another way. I'm getting back to the highway. What this show is when Mr. Hand, who was played by Ray Walston, the guy from My Favorite Martian. Look that one up. I know nobody fucking knows what that one is, okay? Ray Walston was Mr. Hand. And Spicoli, who is Sean Penn, and his first kind of breakout role other than Taps with Tim Hutton and a young Tom Cruise, okay? He goes, Mr. Hand, if I'm here and you're here, doesn't it make it our time? That's the fucking point. It's not my show. It's our show.
Yeah.
That I know, very long-winded because it's the Captain Jack story. Very long-winded, but that's what I'm saying. This is our show. I got Angelo, I got Severe, and I got Jason. Okay. Glazed and confused.
That's a good one. That's a good. That's a good nickname. Glazed and confused.
Glazed and confused. Hey, I heard he had some good reps against.
So long it's not true. Whoa, little woman, never bargained for you. Zeppelin, baby. Zeppelin.
Oh, that's okay.
Don't even fucking tell me you don't know Led Zeppelin. Oh, fucking A.
I know Led Zeppelin, but
I know Led Zeppelin.
The demographic figure of Led Zeppelin is like 1969.
Yeah, I know some Led Zeppelin. Yeah. I mean, I'm familiar with how they got that name because of how they thought. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Severe. I want to hear this.
Because I think when I forgot, I want to say I forgot who it was, but they were basically playing their music, and then they said basically the person said that they'll never blow up, and like that their music will basically go over like a Led Zeppelin, like basically it would sync, and that's why they called themselves Led Zeppelin. But then they end up being probably right. Some people think it's think it's I mean from what people say I know a lot of people think their bass player is the best bass player of all time.
John Paul Jones.
Yeah. So
John Paul Jones played bass. Yeah. Jimi Hendrix played lead guitar. Jimi Hendrix was a bass player in the Yardbirds, which is the greatest group of guitarists ever because it had Jimmy Page, who played bass guitar.
That's what I was talking about, Jimmy Page.
Right. But he played bass guitar in the Yardbirds because Eric Clapton was their lead guitarist.
Oh my goodness.
And their other guitarist was another very, very, very famous guitarist. But Jimmy Page played bass guitar because the other two guitarists outdid him.
That's crazy.
Again, old guy knowledge. I got to figure out.
That's a lot of talent. Yeah. That's a lot of talent. You got Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page on one.
and there's another guy. I think it was Jeff Beck. I think that's who it was. Jeff Beck was the other guitar. Look this shit up. GTS. Google that shit. Okay. Google that shit.
Yeah.
This is our show, and we're talking about stuff that I fucking come in there and blow up the show. I'm sorry. Let's go back to Brock Bowers. Okay. Let's go back to Brock Bowers. And again, y'all need to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High because this is our show.
Yeah,
I'll watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And for the record, I do remember My Favorite Martian too. That one it sounds familiar. I know I've seen it, but I just gotta watch it again. But yeah,
okay.
He's not talking about Mork and Mindy, man.
not Mork and Mindy. Not Mork and Mindy. My Favorite Martian was like it was like the original Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
Because the Martian was down there. And you know who the guy was? He lived in the apartment.
It was like Alf, guys. It was like Alf.
It was like
way before.
I remember Alf. I remember Alf.
Bill
Bixby or something like that.
Bill Bixby was the guy who was in My Favorite Martian with Ray Walston. Bill Bixby, when he was not getting green and blowing up to be the Incredible Hulk. Bill Bixby. Early Bill Bixby.
That's before Lou Ferrigno.
Well, yeah, he was like it wasn't Bill Bixby getting big. It was Lou Ferrigno. Okay. At least we can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
And then all Bill Bixby did, he had the green contacts, when he was about ready to get big, and then Lou Ferrigno walked on. See, I'm fucking up your show. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's all right. So Severe was just saying that DJ Glaze was having, what was it, Severe? He had really good reps against Mac.
He had, I think I want to say he had back-to-back good reps against Tyree and against Max. So he went back-to-back and basically stonewalled both of them. And for everything we heard about him is that he's good in pass pro. It's just his run blocking leaves something to be desired. So
but see, that's got to be the bread and butter of this team is going to be running.
Yes. I agree.
So that needs to be addressed, because if Glaze is good at pass protection, that's fantastic. But the kid needs to be able to move people in front of him. Salute to you, Ann. I know I've been gone so long.
Right, fellas. I gotta give my son to practice, man. We're already running a little bit late, man. Appreciate you guys having me on. Appreciate you being hey, anytime, man. Anytime you guys doing this, man, y'all holler at me. I'd love to hop on, man.
Severe, before you leave, because so Severe's being a good dad. Again, we're recognizing Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Cap.
Happy Father's Day to you guys as well.
He's taking his son to the football game, not soccer.
Football practice.
Actual tackle football game. Yeah. But Severe, before you go, man, tell everybody where they can find you so that you can plug everything, talk about it, 50/50 show and all of that.
For sure, man. The Severe Raider on YouTube, the Severe Raider on Instagram, the Severe Raider on X, the Severe Raider on Snapchat, on TikTok. Every Monday night I do a show, me and Pharaoh NFL. It's called the 50/50 show. We say 8:30-ish because it's never exactly at 8:30, but it's every Monday night. Then every Thursday night, I do a show with Big Mike and Pharaoh as well. That we just titled that show Around the Shield. I am the Raider Nation villain. I am the guy that has the takes that everybody hates, but I keep things interesting, man. So check me out. Come support the show. Come like, comment, subscribe. I usually reply to basically all my comments as long as they're respectful. I'll reply to you guys. So man, appreciate you guys having me on, man. Definitely got to come back on, man. Have some more boxing talk. I gotta watch some old movies.
I feel like I pushed you off the show.
No. This was actually Severe stayed on longer because he got to get his son to the football game.
Yeah.
So no, he was gonna leave earlier anyways. But Severe, I was gonna say, so on those Thursday nights with Big Mike, what time is that?
That's usually around 7:00. We record it Wednesday night and we air it Thursday night. So
got it. Okay, so he's still kind of playing around with it. And
exactly.
For sure, man. We definitely got to talk more boxing. I mean, I wish Pharaoh and Big Mike knew their boxing, but they don't. As good old Roger Mayweather once said, they don't know shit about boxing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Severe pleasure, brother.
For sure, man. We got to link up, man. I know, man. Raider Nation Jasin reached out to me like a long time ago when I first started my channel to hop on, man. We definitely gotta link up, man, and do something, brother.
Most definitely, brother. Looking forward to keep up the good content too, bro.
You guys can come in and talk anytime. People ask me, why don't you have people on? I have a standing invite. Come in anytime. If you got something you want to talk about, I mean this shit. Yeah. If you got something you want to talk about, get with me in the DMs or email. Or go to that guy. See, I'm making sure I remember how to do this opposite what the camera is. Go to that guy and come in. Talk to me. because I get lonely when nobody fucking comes in and talks to me.
For sure. Yeah, man, Angelo's like my uncle that knows boxing, man. So me and him talk all the time, man. He's my Filipino uncle that knows all the boxing, man. So he's a guy we talk about basically more like just about every day, man. So definitely. Next time you guys doing something, I'm there.
Severe's doing a great job, Cap. He's one of my favorite content creators out there. Very respectful. He's always he's giving you honest takes. So sometimes he could sound like a Raider Nation villain, like talking about how he doesn't like Aiden O'Connell. But it's not that he doesn't like Aiden O'Connell.
Chad
he called Aiden O'Connell.
Hey,
Chad
man, look,
Pennington,
I want y'all to look at some Chad Pennington highlights tonight. Watch some Chad Pennington highlights. You're like, damn, that dude looks like Aiden.
Hey, it's funny you said that because as soon as you said that, I was like, damn, now I got to go watch some Chad Pennington.
Watch.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? And see what he had. And
watch. You're like, dang, Chad Pennington was pretty cool. He's like, I ain't no wild plays on there, but it's like, oh man, Chad Pennington, he got the job done. He got the job done.
Now, are you talking Chad Pennington when he played in college or when he played for the Jets?
No, not Marshall. With the Jets before the shoulder surgery, though. Before he got hurt the shoulder.
Okay.
Before he hurt the shoulder. So yeah, Marshall Chad Pennington said, but Marshall Chad Pennington had Randy Moss, so that's like almost not you. That's not fair. Yeah, he was throwing the ball to Randy Moss, so it's like
the reason why Severe was getting worked up, Cap, is because me and Jason said that Aiden O'Connell will be baby Kurt Warner, and then that's when he got all worked up.
If you mean Kurt Warner as an infant, yeah, I agree.
I think we settled on Eli Manning though.
I can take Eli.
Hey, take Eli from Kurt, Chad Pennington, Eli Manning. I'll take that.
I can take Eli.
Two Super Bowls.
Yeah. If we get that out of Aiden, bro, I will. Man, I don't know. I will jump off. I will bungee jump in the Aiden O'Connell jersey.
hey, we will hold you to that right there.
Two Super Bowls, I will bungee jump. Remember this. On June 13th, 6:33 Pacific, Severe said this. Hold me to it.
No, I'm going to hold you to it, Severe, because if Aiden O'Connell this year balls out, like I think he will, and then we're into playoffs, then before the playoff game, when you come to Vegas, you got to jump off the bungee cord at the Stratosphere with the Aiden O'Connell jersey.
I said 2 Super Bowls. I need 2 Super Bowls.
Okay, 2 Super Bowls.
I need 2 Super Bowls. Even if we get 2 Super Bowl appearances, hey, I'll bungee jump for that. I'm just.
Would you bungee jump if the Super Bowl appearances are in LA? Because you know that the next Super Bowl, not this one coming up in New Orleans,
it's in LA.
The next one is Santa Clara in basically the Bay, and then the next one after that is LA. And I was saying this scenario where
the next one's New Orleans. I thought it was New Orleans.
No, it's New Orleans this season.
Oh yeah, then Santa Clara, then LA,
and then it goes Santa Clara, and then it goes LA. Yeah. And my scenario was we'll make the playoffs this season. And then we're going to go to the Super Bowl in the Bay Area, right? That's going to be the gift to Oakland, and we're going to win. And then we're going to go to LA and win 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. And then this will solidify the greatness of the Raiders, and it will be because of Aiden O'Connell that we do this. So Severe Raider, we got to bet, bro.
We got to bet. Hold me to it. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
Again, hey, thanks.
Make sure I say this. Is it Salamat?
Yeah, Salamat.
Salamat.
Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Raider,
Jason, don't go nowhere. I don't want you leaving on account of me too.
Oh no, I'm here. We in this thing.
Okay. Because this has happened before. I was on a show with Angelo, and who is the other gentleman that you had on? And I came on the show, and everybody left. It's like shit. I have this bad effect, and I try not to be that guy. Jason, I don't want you to think of me as that guy.
Never,
please,
never. My Raider brother, man.
So originally we were setting this up, and then we had the thumbnail with MAXX CROSBY boxing and Jacoby Myers and Nate Hobbs boxing. We got to talk a little bit about boxing, but we knew that he had to leave in the first hour after the first hour because he was going to a soccer game. Jason's on all the way till the 2-hour mark and then we never know who might show up. Is all I'm saying. You never know. So,
yeah, and I need to say this right now. Asylum, you're a fucking liar. You're a liar. Don't. Okay. He said, you never want me on, Cap. Bullshit. I say this, standing invitation. Standing invitation. Anybody that is watching my show or our show, because that's the other thing. It's our show. It's not a good show if it's just me. It's boring. If it's just me. It is. It's boring. Boring. I don't like to have a boring show. I like to have people to talk to. I got Angelo can do a show. Angelo can do a 5-hour show and not take a breath. He can do it all in one breath.
Depends on the subject, but sure.
One breath, okay?
If it's boxing, oh yes.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
no, we on. If you
Yeah.
put me on a show with Jose Delgado, Big Daddy Jose, and we were talking about boxing, we will go 5 hours straight about boxing.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Hey, because true story. We were gonna talk Raiders first, and then we got into boxing, and then we started going and going. So it was like, hey, it happened. We tried to.
No, I mean it's hard too because there's so much like Severe really likes his boxing, and then Jason's now finally like because Jason was a big boxing guy, and then he kind of stopped watching for a little bit. But now that we're turning him on to Peacock TV, he can watch all of the UK fights on Peacock TV. Yeah. And all these fights that's happening in Saudi and Riyadh. Right now, it's a big thing, and the one that's happening this weekend, Cap, it's in Vegas. And this is a big one in Vegas. It's busy here. What's up? Squirrel comments.
Yeah, no. Squirrel. Like I said, I get on one subject and squirrel, and I go off on tangent. That's what that means.
Oh, got you. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Wait. All right. So, hey, Cap, did you get the YouTube of me sending you the fight between Tyson Fury and Usyk?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you really?
I didn't fucking watch it yet.
Okay, you didn't watch it. All right.
Because, hey, I admitted it. I don't lie. I don't lie. Because I was getting my Harley done and some other things that are coming on. And by the way, do not leave the show because I have a tease for Sunday. Okay. There will be a show on Sunday.
Okay.
Oh, yes, there will be a show on Sunday.
Well, we only got 20 minutes left before I have to cut it off, but go ahead.
That's fine. So no, don't leave at about the 7-minute mark. Say, hey, Cap, you had something to tell people about.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to ask Cowtown Luda's one of my favorite guys. We're always going back and forth too with the boxing. So Zhang, he's talking about Zhilei Zhang, who, for you guys who don't know, this guy's a monster. He's basically George Foreman. Imagine George Foreman. That's Zhilei Zhang. He's 6'6", China. He's straight up from China. Trains in New Jersey. 282 pounds when he fought Wilder, and he knocked him out. Yeah. So he's asking me if Tyson Fury or Zhang, who would win. Honestly, man, I didn't think Fury lost the fight against Usyk, so I'm gonna have to go with Fury. But Zhang is scary. Remember that Tyson Fury is 6'9", 290 pounds. And when you watch the fight, Cap, when you finally get a chance to watch it, you imagine a British Muhammad Ali. That's Tyson Fury.
Yeah. That's the big English guy with the bald head that just looks like he can rip a can open with his hands. You don't need a can opener because he's got one right there. And then do like Popeye, go like that. But
yeah. Hey, he made Wilder look like a little man. Man, it was so crazy. He made him look like because he's a big dude. Wilder's
Deontay Wilder is 6'7", and he's 214 pounds. It was literally looked like watching Jackson Powers Johnson fight like Jacorian Bennett. Like
I was gonna say Hunter Renfro. Like a Renfro.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But no. So anyways, no. Sorry, Jason. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No worries.
This time I didn't do it, Jason. I swear. It was that guy. It was that guy.
No, it's all good. Hey, it's all good.
So Cap, we were talking about earlier, and I don't know if Jason got to see this, but you remember Lyle Alzado fighting Muhammad Ali? Because that's in your time period. So do you remember watching it on TV during that time?
No, actually, I remember it when it happened, but I don't. If it wasn't it late 80s. Wasn't it late 80s? Because I might have
1979. 1979 is when.
Okay. Then I don't have the excuse. I was in the. Oh, wait a second. No, I was gonna say I had to figure out where I was back in 79. Yeah, that was when he was with the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because the Broncos didn't want him to do that, correct?
The Broncos did not want him to do it, but they didn't really have a choice.
Right.
And Lyle Alzado actually really trained for it.
Yes. And I remember it, but because he was a Bronco at the time and he hadn't crossed over to being a Raider, I didn't have as much interest in it. Had he been a Raider fighting Muhammad Ali, because again, that would have immediately sent my bells and whistles off like, oh, wow. Yeah, I got to watch this because I got a Raider fighting Muhammad Ali. To me, it was just, oh, there is a big football guy who wants to fight Muhammad Ali. And again, not knowing a lot about Alzado. I didn't know. I do remember that he went to Yankton. He was a mean motherfucker. He was drafted by the Browns and went from the Browns to the Broncos. The alliteration was there because you had to have a team that had a brr in it, right? Get it, Browns, Broncos. But so I knew about him, and I knew that he was a very, very mean dude, right? And I even remember his 1970. Was it the 72 football card when he didn't have he just was a big dude with no hair. Well, no facial hair. He's a big motherfucker on that football card, right?
He's
a
big guy. So that's kind of like and in the beginning we talked about how just last season NFL Films actually recorded it. MAXX CROSBY boxing against Sean Strickland, who at the time was the current UFC middleweight champion, and then we talked about the footage and how all respect the Max and he's great, but he's no boxer. Obviously, he's great at what he does. But he did talk about how boxing really helped him with distancing and timing and everything else. So
yeah, and because again, you have that as a defensive end and lineman, you have to have that push, and you use kind of like the jab, the stick and move, and the feigning. Not feigning FAINT, but feigning FEIG. Yeah, fainting. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I can spell too. It's a spelling show. So I get that, and it's good for you because the muscular, memory and all the things like that in boxing definitely will help you out. I know a dude that was a training in boxing and martial arts, and he was a teacher, and I think the Raiders came up to him and said, hey, can you teach our guys some of the aspects of what you do? And he was like, fuck yeah, man, let me do that. I can't remember his name. Some Filipino guy in Alameda, but that's all I remember.
So for you guys in the chat who's not getting the joke, Cap's talking about me. In 1998, when John Gruden first came in, I was the head instructor of the dojo on Park Street, and the Raiders came up. So we actually got to train Tim Brown, Desmond Howard. It was that team. I got to work with the wide receivers. So thanks, Cap. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it. So thank you. No, those are fun times. And yeah, that is what we were actually covering with them, is that inside leverage is really important also, like trying to get your hands in rather than out. Like, because when you're going out, you don't have a lot of control, but if you could somehow beat the person inside, then you have more control. So we covered that a lot with I still remember that conversation with Desmond Howard where he kept asking, like, so as you're running, you know, when you're doing the hand fighting, right? Like where it is. And then in the beginning, especially from the line, like how do you then do the almost like how do you beat it and then go out kind of a move? So yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Cap. But what I'll say is that what boxing and martial arts in general will teach people, especially if you're a football player, is how your brain has to go fast. It's almost like speed chess. It's not rock'em sock'em. That's where I think a lot of people get it wrong. Is if you're really good at fighting, it's like your brain is playing chess all the time because you're trying to basically read every movement that your opponent has in front of you. You're trying to read the shoulder.
Yeah.
You're trying to read a facial like movement. Oh, okay, every time Captain Jack kind of sort of winks with his left eye, he throws the left hand. So I'm just gonna look for the wink. And then I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna move and try to counter. And there's a lot of thinking going on, which is why boxing is at such a high level, which is why you have to have really high endurance because your brain is the first thing to start getting tired, right? You know this, Jason, from your medical work. Your brain's a muscle.
Oh, yeah.
And the minute it starts to get fatigued, man, you're making all the mistakes, and that's when all the hits start coming.
Yeah, because you know,
if I'm winking, I'm saying, and I apologize. If I'm winking at a hot Raiderette. So you know that's why that's when the Captain Jack does that wink. You know, I say, hey, how you? I give him the Joey. So hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? There you go. So and see, I got Raiderette J. Oh, Raiderette J, sweetheart, 420, and she was on you there, Jason. I'm backing off, man, because apparently you're taken.
Yes, yes, sir. That would be. She would be the one.
Okay. So I just gotta say, hey, but still, you find me somebody else to wink to there, Raiderette J, sweetheart, and I'll do the hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
But good to see everybody. Go ahead, sir. I cut you off.
Oh, no worries, man. Like, no, just the one thing about like, even though I'm not a big Gervonta guy, but I respect what he does. And like it's kind of like Mayweather, you know, he can slip everything, he can move, but his thing is once he feels you out and he feels, you know, kind of what you got, he'll sit back and then all he'll do is just counter, just wait for you to be aggressive. You know, and that's what Gervonta does really well too, because it's like he'll kind of, like you said, he starts off slow, but once he feels his opponent's power and he sees, okay, so this is all he's got, but he makes sure that he just doesn't get hit again. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it seems like in the second half of their fights, even Mayweather, like if you watch like how the Mosley fight for one that I could think of too was the Pacquiao fight, because you know, when I watched them, like when they were actually going on, it felt like they were really closer than they were. But then it was just a lot of early damage, and then it was Mayweather going to work. Like it was so crazy just watching him now. I'm like, damn, he's just waiting for them to make a move, because of course he's put it on you so much that you got to be aggressive now. So all he does is use that aggression, and I'm just going to counter you. I know you're losing the fight. You know what I mean? So you got to be aggressive, but the more aggressive you are, he just waits, patient game, and just it's crazy. It's like an artist.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I'm glad you said that word, that he's an artist. So again, in reference to boxing, guys, and like I said, I want to shout out Jose Delgado, who used to have his own radio show, as Captain Jack told me way back in the day.
It wasn't his. It was Raider Joe.
Raider Joe.
Raider Joe. Not Raider Joe. Raider Joe.
Raider Joe.
Raider Joe. It's kind of like an Arnold, you know, it's like a good neighbor, you know, but no, it was Raider Joe in was it the capital of Virginia.
Yeah.
Richmond. It was in Richmond, right? Would put it out on the airwaves, and people would tune into the show, and Jose would be one of the you know how they have like Murph and Swag Jeff have like their made men and their guys that are always on the show on Wednesdays, you know, on the Raider Nation Radio. channel that Murph and Jeff and Michelle Sweat, don't want to forget Michelle Sweat because she'd be pissed at me, but Jose would be one of those people that would always call in. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm going to go and do that and call in. And then I actually was fortunate enough to actually be in the Richmond area taking a military class up in up the road a bit. And I said, well, fuck it. I'm going to go down and I'm going to sit in studio on the show. And I asked permission. He goes, yeah, come on down. So I was on the radio with Raider Joe and his partner, and that's where I got the bug to do what I do now. If it wouldn't have been for that, and it wouldn't have been for my buddy that said, hey, when you're in Guantanamo, one of the best things that you can do is be on the radio, on Radio Gitmo, to keep your mind going, because there ain't a lot of things to do in Guantanamo other than looking at fences and people on the other side of the fences that we won't talk about.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about. But so that was it. So yeah, it was a good thing for me to do.
Yeah, no, what I was saying was so out of the blue last week, I'm looking through the mail and I got this Muhammad Ali shirt, and
Nice.
it was Big Daddy Jose Delgado just sent it just because. So and then this is what I was gonna say to you, Jason. I'm wearing the shirt. So people forget, like when they talk about Mayweather this or Mayweather that, people forget that if you watch Muhammad Ali after the late 60s, he was a lot like Mayweather. And you guys could watch like him fighting Ron Lyle after he beat George Foreman. But even if you watch the George Foreman fight in 74, he wasn't throwing a lot of punches. He was letting the people wail at him. And then he came out late. And when he struck, that's when he made it count. And that's very much what kind of progressed this style, like what Gervonta Davis is doing when you talk about it, Jason, is he's calculating and waiting to see where the opening is. And so this is what I mean about how every muscle when you're watching boxing is being used, and the mind is a muscle.
Yeah.
He's like tracking everything. It's almost like he's reading the defenses and he's kind of just giving it to you. So a lot of times I describe it to like in baseball, a batter will think in his head, okay, I'll have 3 chances to go against this pitcher. And the first at bat, he might just kind of be like watching all the different pitches. Yeah. But later, like in the 7th inning, then he might hit that home run because he saw the pitches already. And when you're watching boxing, that's how you have to watch it. You have to understand that what looks boring to you is actually to us, where we're watching the boxing, it's not boring to us at all, because we're seeing like their faces, we're seeing their eyes, we're seeing what they're looking for. And in the first 6 to 9 minutes, if you don't see a lot of action, then just already know there's going to be a knockout that'll happen after the 6th round, right? Yeah. If you see a lot of action in the first 6 to 9 minutes, the first 3 rounds, that means either they're both going to get tired later, or whoever the stronger fighter is going to go knock out the weaker fighter. But it's kind of like, well, what do you want to do? Like in football, are we running the ball? Because if you think about it, right, why do you run the ball over and over again? It's to get the defense so tired that in the back half, in the second half, a game that could be 14-14 at the end of the second quarter ends up being 32-14 because the other team was just too tired. And that's how you have to watch boxing. So when you like when you watch it this weekend, Saturday it's on Amazon Prime. You guys can watch Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. There's also the Mexican Monster, David Benavidez versus Alexander Vostik. That's going to be a great card. You can go to your Peacock TV and turn it on for free. And at 10:30 in the morning, you could watch Christian Billiam Smith fight Riakpour. That's for the cruiserweight title. That's 200 pounds. And then they got that guy that we were talking about earlier on the show, Ben Whitaker, who I think is going to be the next Roy Jones Jr. You guys can watch him for free. And then if you have the Zone, DAZN, in Puerto Rico, 10,000 people, they're watching this guy named Subriel Matias fight Liam Paro from Australia. And Matias, Cap, I don't know if you remember the story from 4 years ago, a boxer died in the ring in America 4 years ago. The guy that's fighting this Saturday is the guy who killed him. Like, it's that guy, the guy who's got 20 wins, 20 knockouts. Like, so like I said, like this is, boxing, if you're not a boxing fan, you won't understand it. Just like if you're not a football fan, you won't understand it. But if you're a boxing fan, this weekend globally is huge. So with only like 3 minutes left, Cap, what is it that you wanted to announce?
No, this is great because, again, I don't know whether I could string it out much longer than this. Make sure that you hit it at the 2-minute mark. First off, I want to thank Raider Nation Jasin for being here. And again, sir, anytime you want to come on, standing invitation. I get lonely if nobody comes in. Angelo knows that. He comes in when he can. I will say this, okay? For those that know about what we were trying to do about last year, I gave information about the American Spring Football League. The American Spring Football League was a proposition that was going to be going up against the USFL and the XFL at the time, and their stuff sucked so bad that they became the UFL, and it's on life support. If you ask me, you look in the crowd, there other than like St. Louis, there's really nobody in the crowd. What I would like to say is we, Captain Jack and our audience, we will be having an announcement about a football league that's not the ASFL. We will have on, I'm pretty sure when I get everything squared away, Mac Davis, the gentleman that I interviewed at the time about the American Spring Football League, we will be interviewing him, and we will get information about another spring league that we will be behind and support. I got 158.10. Angelo, you do the outro.
All right.
And Jason, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Severe, thank you for being here as well.
Thanks to everybody. Got to close it out. Please rewatch the replay. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Sunday.